Hello everyone, my name is Kerry Hazelton and I am the Senior Cloud Security Engineer with Tenable. I have been with the company since this past August, and today we are going to do a demonstration of how to conduct a forensic investigation in the cloud, specifically with AWS. And as you see here on my screen, I am logged into my personal account, Cloud Forensics Challenge. The reference behind that is I teach cloud forensics at security conferences in the Baltimore, Washington area, and has recently expanded to other parts of the country. So you see here on my screen, I have two EC2 instances that are spun up. I have a test box, which is running the Windows Server 2016 base, and also have a forensics POC, which is also running 2016 Windows. And just to confirm that the test box is up and running, we're going to drop down here, and as you see, I am currently logged in. And yes, this is a public-facing server. For purposes of our own company, chances are these will not be facing the outside. But again, this is to demonstrate that I'm currently logged into the EC2 instance, which has been potentially compromised in this particular scenario. So what we're going to do first of all is we are going to go to our root device, which is dev SDA1, and we are going to go to our Elastic Block storage. As see here, it's currently tested, and we're going to go ahead and spin up a snapshot of this. Give it a description. We're going to call it snapshot 1. Name tag, we're going to call it snapshot 1 test, and then create. And we're going to come over to our snapshots volume to confirm that it is pending. The beauty with AWS, you can actually create a snapshot of a root volume while an EC2 instance is running. There is no need to stop it, as of course with a frame of storage, all the data can be lost if the instance is stopped and or terminated. In most cases, if you terminate it, the data goes away. Unless, of course, you specify otherwise in the settings, or delete upon termination. So while that's going, we're going to go ahead and come back to our volumes here. And of course, we do have the two, and we're going to wait for this other one to finish spinning up here. Okay, snapshot completed. And then we want to go ahead and create a volume. And make sure we're still in the same availability zone, which is US East 1A. And give it a name here, snapshot 1 test, copy, create volume. And of course, depending upon the size of your snapshot and your volume, this could take anywhere from a couple of minutes on up. As you see here, it's already available, ready to go. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and spin up our other instance, but first we want to take this and attach it to our forensics POC. So we're going to go ahead and attach and leave it as the default setting of XVDF. And then just to confirm that is attached, we can come down here. Let's see, it's attached, and we're going to go ahead and connect. Start it up. Now, for those of you who are curious if this is a similar procedure for Linux, the answer is yes. As you see up here in my tabs, I do have the reference from the crew at Forensic Labs. they actually did the research on this last year, about the time I was actually teaching on cloud forensics at security conferences such as B-Sides. Unfortunately, this was not brought to my attention up until recently, when a question was asked if there was a way to conduct an investigation in AWS or Azure compared to reaching out to the cloud service provider directly for assistance. And thankfully, as cloud continues to evolve, so does the research. Each research will catch up with it eventually, which is a very good thing for us. All right, so now our forensics POC is now spun up. Now, normally in this case, what we would do is we would come to our test box here, and we would throw it into, actually we'd come to security groups first, and we would modify the security groups accordingly. And as you see here in my example, I have both my security groups already limited to port 3389, which is default for RDP, and I have it tied down to my machine here in my home lab. That is very important, is the compromised EC2 instance. You want to make sure that after you've created a snapshot of it, of the root volume and any attached EBS volumes, is you want to quickly isolate it, and if you have any access keys, you want to disable those access keys as soon as possible. That prevents your attacker from gaining access to it. And the command here, I'm going to highlight on my screen. Now, as far as our other EC2 instance that I have currently running, it's best if you actually spin it up in an isolated VPC, preferably one that has very limited access in and out of. And we are going to connect to this one, and then download desktop file. And then we're going to open. It should be the same password as I had before here, so these passwords are obviously going to change eventually. Let's see if this is the right one. Yes. Perfect. Also, I would never knowingly log in as an administrator, but again, this is just for the purposes of this demonstration. All right, so now we are going to be looking for, I'll pull it up here in just a second. This particular link here tells us how to create snapshots. And then what we're looking for specifically is how to attach a snapshot using Windows. And I believe it's through disk management. Yep. So you want to log into your instance and then start disk management utility and then bring that volume online. So we'll do that now. Right click on the menu for left panel, then choose online. So see if we can't do that from here. Excellent. Let's see here, it's now designated as drive D. Now this particular point, what you will want to do from this instance is you want to go ahead and fire up tools such as either Encase or Autopsy or even Log to Timeline. All three are very good forensics tools. The latter one I mentioned is actually will take all of your timestamps and validate them, aggregate them for you for investigation. And the reason behind that is if an attacker or even an internal threat for that matter were to alter timestamps, that is a clear indication of a compromise. Now, for our purposes, conduct investigation in the cloud is not only of necessary, but it also is time is of the essence, because the longer the attacker stays within our environment, the harder it is to contain that particular individual. And what you want to do is prevent him or her from moving or pivoting throughout the network as quickly as possible. So by isolating the EC2 instance that has been compromised, whether it's malware infection or data loss or data exposure, once you've isolated it and then again created the snapshot of the root volume and created another storage volume from that and attached it here, again, you can do investigation accordingly. Now, as for the instance itself that's been compromised, and again, you want to make sure that this is actually completely isolated by itself. You want to change your security groups and your access control list. What you want to do at this particular point is you want to go ahead and you can run a tool such as Margarita Shotgun, which is a remote memory capture tool. Try to obtain the virtual memory from it. You also have the option to log into it directly and run volatility. You want to take a look at your logs, your registry, and run your antivirus tools against it. Some other artifacts you may want to look for would be CloudTrail and CloudWatch logs. Guard Duty, I would highly recommend that is set up correctly, and that should give you an indicator of anything has changed. If you are able to monitor network traffic in and out of the environment, obviously PCAPs would come in handy. That way you can see exactly what commands or what instructions were sent by the attacker, and try to identify the source IP and other relevant information. Overall, the purpose of the investigation is to create a timeline of events and determine what type of information was exposed or altered or destroyed. Was it customer information? Is proprietary information? And then you would want to get with your manager and assemble a team accordingly and say, here is the timeline of events, here are the artifacts, and undoubtedly the question will come up, did you maintain chain of custody? And the answer to that should be yes, and you need to want to demonstrate how. Where you have snapshots of the not just of the compromised EC2 instance itself, but also any attached EBS storage volumes as well. So that's it in a nutshell. Again, that was Windows. Linux is very similar. And if there are any questions or comments, or if you'd like to see how to create an investigation in the cloud using Linux, I would be more than happy to create another video. Feel free to hit me up on Slack. And with that, thanks for watching.